Hello my loves and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy. I'm an evidence-based nutritionist and personal trainer with over 10 years experience of helping thousands of women lose weight, tone up, have more energy, develop more self-confidence and just feel better in themselves day to day. Now today's YouTube video is going to be completely different to all my other YouTube videos. It's going to be unscripted, unedited, raw, natural video of me just gabbing to the camera and giving you tips, tools and advice on the topic that we are going to be discussing today. And if you do like this video and prefer it to my other videos, then please leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and just give me some feedback, that'd be great. And before we go into today's video, I just want to let you know that I am recovering from a cold that my toddler kindly passed to me. So I've got a bit of the sniffles and I am a little bit chesty and feel like can't catch your breath. If I'm taking moments to go, I'm not passing away. I'm just recovering from a cold. So please excuse that today. But yeah, let's get into today's video. And today's video is going to be all about skinny fat and what it is, what it isn't, what causes it, and ultimately what you can do to overcome being skinny fat. So being skinny fat basically means you're at a normal weight range, you're at a normal BMI, you're at a healthy weight range, healthy BMI, and in clothes you look great, you're small, everything fits okay. But then when you take the clothes off, that's the problem, because you're confident in clothes but you're not so confident without your clothes, because you look untoned, undefined, you have like wobbly bits, quite a lot of body fat or flabby bits, things like that. Don't like using them words, but it's the harsh reality of it, it's just the truth. And it's quite a difficult place to be in, because it's like, well, okay, I feel like usually the people who are skinny fat, they're usually doing all the right things, like they're following a calorie deficit to lose weight, they're exercising regularly. But they're at a point now where they're doing all the right things, but they're just not getting the desired outcome they want. They want to be lean, they want to be toned, they want to be defined. They don't want to have wobbly bits, they don't want to have excess body fat or stubborn body fat or whatever we want to call it. They actually want to feel confident, like naked in front of, when they take the clothes off in front of the partner, or when they are getting like in the bikini at the pool, at the beach. They want to show off the body and feel confident, not hiding it. And it's a really hard place to be in, because it's like, okay, well, like what do I do now? Do I go on, do I keep dieting? Do I need to push harder with my calorie deficit? Or do I actually need to like go on a muscle building journey and like build muscle to improve my shape? And it's so hard to know what to do to improve your body composition. And basically this is what's happening here. If you are someone that's skinny fat, it basically means that you have more body fat than you do muscle mass. Whereas if you had more muscle mass and less body fat, this is how you would create that lean, toned, defined look and shape. This is ultimately how you get your shape. The more muscle mass you have on you, the better shape you have underneath the body fat. And when the body fat comes off, that's when the shape will reveal itself and you'll have that toned, firm, tight, defined sort of figure. However, if the muscle mass isn't there, it still will be untoned and undefined. Now, there is some risks that come with being skinny fat. Like, you are at risk of having like more metabolic diseases as you age, cardiovascular diseases, because you have more visceral fat and things like that. So it's not really like the healthiest place to be in. And what causes skinny fat is basically people who they go on a diet and they don't protect their muscle mass. How you protect your muscle mass is by ensuring that you are, one, having enough protein every single day, and every single day, not just here and there, like making sure that you hit your daily protein goal. Number two is making sure that you strength train 2 times a week as a bare minimum, but 2 to 4 times per week. But you are applying progressive overload, and which basically means that you are doing more than you did the previous week, whether that means you are doing more reps or lifting more weight, putting tension and mechanical load onto the muscles, making them work hard and forcing them to sort of adapt and grow to the new stimulus. and then you'll grow the muscles with your nutrition through your protein. And then recovery as well. Like this can happen when people are overtraining, they're not eating enough, and they're not getting enough sleep or enough rest, and the stress is really high, so they're not recovering optimally. So you can sort of see here how the lines are blurred, because people who want to lose weight think, right, I need to eat less, move more, and yeah, job's done. And it's like, well, no, like fat loss is so much more than that. And there's two completely like different things. Like a lot of people can get caught up in the scales as well, and like seeing the scales coming down. But what you've got to remember, weight and fat are two completely different things. So I always ask my clients, do you want to lose weight or do you want to lose body fat? And they're like, I don't know, weight loss, both maybe. And it's like, well, what you've got to remember when you're getting on the scales aren't just weighing you or weighing like body fat. They are basically taking a whole like sort of weight metric of what you weigh, which consists of muscle, blood, bones, body fat, tissue. It consists of all of these things. Whereas you want to be focusing on fat loss, because weight loss can be impacted by a number of different things. Like anyone can go in a calorie deficit and cut carbohydrates and lose weight. Or they can go in a calorie deficit, cut the calories really low, cut out carbohydrates and do loads of cardio, and the scales will drop at like the most rapid rate. But that's not good, because that when you're seeing these like scales coming down, these big losses weekly, and they're coming down like regularly, like that is not all body fat. That is a combination of water, muscle mass, and some body fat. But that's not how we want to do fat loss and toning up, because that will result in you ending up skinny fat. And when you cut out carbohydrates, you lose stored carbohydrates in the muscle, which is glycogen. And then along with that, you'll lose the water that's attached to the carbohydrates being stored. So you'll see this big whoosh effect, and this is why you'll see people who go on low carb diets losing 5 pounds in a week, and it's like, that's not actually fat loss, that's just water weight. So don't be celebrating that. And then doing the same with cardio. If you add in loads of cardio, again, you're just depleting your glycogen stores. So again, another big drop. And then obviously that isn't sustainable either. So these people usually end up yo-yoing, and when we do this again, this can result in, again, being skinny fat. So we don't want to go down that route. We want to go down the fat loss route and doing fat loss properly. We want to protect our current muscle mass. We want to accrue and grow new muscle tissue. And we want to make sure that we are in a sustainable calorie deficit, so that we are not going into like, we're not at risk of losing our muscle mass. We want to protect that at all costs. So we're going to do that through having enough protein, having a sustainable calorie deficit, and strength training 2 to 4 times a week, and applying progressive overload. And yeah, when you're looking at the scales, the drops on the scales might not be as fast. And you might be looking at like £0.5 to £2 per week, depending on how much like weight you've got to lose. But you will look better at the end of this. You will be the person who looks strong, you look toned, you look defined, you're lean, you've got a flat stomach, you're not all untoned and wobbly. This is the type of person you look at in a bikini and be like, oh my God, she looks fucking insane. Like, so do it properly. I know it's tempting to do the quick fix that promises lose yada yada 10 pounds in a week, but that's not body fat, and you'll look awful doing that. It's a combination of water, muscle, and a little bit of body fat. But remember, we don't want that. It's inevitable that you will lose a bit of water weight when you go on a fat loss journey. That happens with everyone when they tidy the diet up. But what you want to do is ensure that you are protecting your muscle mass at all costs, and just basically dropping body fat. Excuse me. Okay, so now we've covered what skinny fat is and what causes it. Let's talk about the plan of action that you need to take to go from skinny fat to being fit, toned, lean and defined. And we're going to start off with protein, as protein is the most important macronutrient when it comes to body recomposition. And body recomposition simply means improving your current composition. And what we want to do is you want to go from having a higher body fat percentage to a lower body fat percentage, and go from a low muscle mass to higher muscle mass. And no, you are not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or a bodybuilder. You are just going to essentially improve your overall shape, which is going to give you more confidence. And also there's so much benefit to having muscle as well. I don't know where this like big myth come from that like if you weight train and eat protein you're going to get big and bulky, and it's like it's so hard to build muscle. Like even if it was easy to build muscle, we'd all be walking around with like Kim Kardashian bums and six-pack abs and lovely toned arms, and we're just not, because it's actually really, really difficult to build muscle. It takes time, it takes consistency, it takes hard work, and it takes patience and perseverance over a good 6 to 12 months, if not longer. And like we can only build so muscle in like a year's time. So don't be panicking about looking big and bulky. The only way you're going to get big and bulky is if you eat in a calorie surplus. That's the only way you can gain body fat, and that is not going to happen if you are eating in a sustainable deficit and training regularly. It's not going to happen. So yeah, just needs to get that out the way. So let's start off with protein. And we need enough protein every day to support our current muscle mass and grow new muscle tissue. And protein's also amazing for helping with satiety, which basically means keeping us fuller for longer, filling us up. So the current guidelines for protein intake is anything from like 1.6 grams of protein per kilo of body weight to around 2.2 for the upper limit per kilo of body weight. So let's say you're 60 kilos, you'll times this by 1.6, and this will give you your sort of minimum target of protein. And then I would say like this is where I probably start all of my clients, and I might push them up to 1.8 depending on how they're getting on, how their appetite is, how their recovery is, and then yeah, I might increase it depending on that. But I always start, as long as you start at the lower end, and as long as you're getting your sort of bare minimum in, that'll be you doing better than what you've done previously and getting more protein in, and that's going to support current muscle mass and help you recover from your current training sessions to help you grow new muscle tissue. And then when it comes to your calorie intake, we want a moderate, sustainable deficit as opposed to something that's rapid, aggressive and extreme, because these kinds of deficits result in muscle loss too. And remember, we want to protect our muscle mass at all times, so probably aiming for like, I'd say a 15 to 25% sort of calorie deficit from your maintenance calorie. Because remember, it's not about going on the least calories as possible, because we want to be focusing on food as fuel and fueling our sessions. This is going to give us energy to perform and lift heavier, and also to recover as well. So don't get in the habit of thinking you need to eat as little as possible in order to achieve results, because that's just not the case. We want a moderate, sustainable deficit in order to be consistent, so that we can be consistent with it in the long term. And this also allows for flexibility and variety as well, because when we cut our calories too low, it doesn't allow for the things that we love and enjoy, such as our favourite foods, going out for meals, alcoholic drinks, things like that. And then it also leads to hunger as well, and then when you're hungry you can't be consistent and you overeat constantly. So you can just see how you can get in a vicious cycle with this. So choose the moderate deficit. And I know this is how people who have a quick fix mindset or a yo-yo diet mindset, because you're so used to thinking if I go, well, if I cut my calories lower then it'll speed up the process, when in reality it's like, no, it won't. It's going to actually slow you down in the long term. As if you choose the moderate approach, you can be consistent in the long term. And it's not just all about hitting your calories. I'm actually not a big fan of MyFitnessPal. I don't track calories. A lot of my clients don't track calories. I teach you how to lose weight and improve your body composition with sort of my own method, which is called the Done For You plan, and it's a plan that I've created that removes all of the guesswork when it comes to nutrition, to teach my clients how to eat, how to portion control, how to design a plate to actually get this desired look, lean, toned and defined. If your nutrition is just as important as the quantity of your calories. So quality is so important, because this is where you're going to get your vitamins, your minerals, your antioxidants. So I would always ensure that you follow like the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 approach when it comes to your nutrition, which simply means 80 to 90% of the time, ensure that you are choosing single ingredient, nutrient dense whole foods that provide the body with like vitamins, minerals, all that good stuff. And then 10-20% of the time, allow some calories for things that you love and enjoy, because this is what's going to keep you consistent in the long term. And plus, when you have a diet that's naturally high in whole foods, your appetite's lowered because they provide more food volume for less calories, and it keeps you fuller for longer. And I've just remembered something else actually when I was talking about protein and having more muscle mass. It also improves your metabolism as well, because the more protein that you have, it has the highest thermic effective foods out of all the 3 macronutrients, which is protein, carbs and fats. And protein has the highest TEF, or thermic effective foods, simply meaning when you have protein and for your body to digest, utilize and absorb protein, you burn 30% of the calories consumed purely through that process. So let's say you have 100 calories worth of chicken, 30% of those calories are going to be like removed pure or burned purely through you digesting and utilizing it. So your net calories of that will be 70 calories. And then when you have more muscle mass on, so that's elevating your metabolism. When you have more muscle mass on you, this is again helping your metabolism and elevating that. And all metabolism simply means is burning more burning calories. So the more you can become have a sort of higher burning metabolism or an elevated metabolism, it simply means you're more efficient at burning calories. So you'll burn more calories at rest. And the more muscle you have on you, the more you're gonna expend calories, because muscle is more metabolically active than fat, meaning it burns more calories per pound of muscle than pound of body fat. So there's even more benefits to have more muscle mass on you. And I always say as well that your muscle mass, you want to treat it like your pension pot. Now, there's a really depressing statistic, but from like the age of 30, a woman's muscle mass naturally starts declining. And then when it hits perimenopause, it declines even more. And this is why women are at risk of like osteopenia, sarcopenia, and literally low bone mineral density. And then this is why you'll see maybe your older aunt or your nan falling over and constantly breaking things like the hip, the shoulder, the wrist, because the bones are brittle. And this is like, so we want to think of like your muscle mass as your pension pot. The way you pay into your pension pot now to protect you and look after you later on in life, this is exactly how I want you to think of your muscle as well. You are putting in the sessions now, training hard now, putting the reps in the gym to build muscle tissue, and then you're eating protein every single day to support the current lean muscle mass and help grow new muscle tissue. That's going to help you later on in life, because the more muscle you have, the more it's going to support your bones, and then you'll be less at risk of like falls and fractures as you age. And I honestly believe like the secret to aging is having more muscle mass on you. So treat your muscle mass like your pension pot. Another issue I see with people who are skinny fat is they are someone who probably do a load of cardio but not any muscle training or strength training. And it's so important that you do at least both. Like, yeah, you can include cardio for like to improve fitness, to improve stamina, for metabolic health, but we need strength training. We need to be strong, and we need to have muscle mass on us for all of them reasons that I have just listed. So if you're someone that doesn't strength train now, even just doing 2 full body sessions per week will benefit you so much. And it's all about being consistent with them. And then if you can, maybe go up to like 3 to 4 sessions per week. And again, it's just all about trying to do better than you did the previous week and applying progressive overload to get stronger over time. This is another reason why people are skinny fat, because they don't follow a structured training program. They find random workouts off their favorite fitness influencer online and go and follow it and think that they're going to look like them, and that's just not that is not what is going to happen. Follow random workouts. They go in the gym, try a bit of this, try a bit of that. They go and do a different class here, a different class there, and there's no consistency. So the most important thing you can do if you really do want to change your body composition is commit to a structured training program. And This actually means that your training program is going to stay the exact same for the next few weeks, potentially the next few months. You do not need a different training program every single week because you're scared of you're going to get bored. You need to change your mindset. If you want to improve your body composition and you want to look leaner, toned and more defined as opposed to being skinny fat, then you've got to commit to your training program. And the reason why we keep the training program exactly the same is because you need to learn how to get better at the same movement patterns. So for example, this might look like squat, deadlift, bent over row, shoulder press, lunges, hip thrusts. And if you keep changing the program, that means that you keep changing the exercise. So you're not able to progressively overload on that exercise. So you want to keep the training program exactly the same and aim to do better. So you might start off on, you might choose 20 kilos for squats and you might start off on 8 reps. So on your first training session, you'll do 8 reps at 20 kilos for 3 or 4 sets. Next week, you'll do 9 reps of 20 kilos at 3 to 4 sets. The week after, it'll be 10 reps. The week after that, it'll be 11 reps. The week after that, it'll be 12 reps. Then when you've maxed out, then you might go, okay, well, I'm going to increase this to 25 key now. And I'm going to start at 8 reps again. Or I might go to 30 key and I might start at 8 reps again. And it's about like progressively overloading the weight or the reps over time, whilst keeping your form. And form's so important because a lot of people, again, they just think, right, I need to build muscle, I'm just going to throw on a lot of weight, as much weight as I can, and then the form's impacted, they get an injury and they're not even putting the muscles under pressure because they're not hitting the depth or they're not controlling the movement and creating that mind-muscle connection to force the muscles to be under pressure to grow. So take your time with your strength training. And another issue I see as well is people going in and rushing through the sessions just to get them done. Like, what I would recommend is reduce the amount of times you're going to the gym. Like if you're going 5-6 times a week now, but you're going in, rushing it, getting in, getting out, like reduce that to 3 sessions and really focus on those 3 sessions and improve the quality of your sessions. Take your time, make sure that you're training to failure. So training to failure means that you should be choosing a weight where you're probably failing around like the 8 to 12 rep range. And when it's getting to that, it should be like, them last 2 reps, like, fuck me, this is hard, like, am I going to get back up out this squat here? This is really challenging, and it should be like a big effort to get you through that sort of set. And that's how you want to train. Forgot my trail of thought there. What was I saying then? This is something I do a lot since I've had the baby. I'll be talking about something and then all of a sudden I'll just forget what I was talking about. I was talking about progressive overload. I was talking about training to failure. I was talking about, oh yeah, the quality of your sessions. So I'd reduce, back in the room. Yeah, I'd focus on the quality of your sessions and really like giving it your all during them sessions. Be focused, be intentional, go in with your plan, make sure you knew what you lifted the week before, and make sure that you do at least the very same or more than what you did the previous week to force your muscles to grow. And this is the only way you're going to improve your body composition, by training to failure and applying progressive overload and sticking to a structured training program. If you don't do this, your body composition won't improve and you will probably remain skinny fat and untoned, undefined and unhappy with how you look. And then something that I really need you to overcome is the scales, and using the scales as your sole indicator of progress, because the scales can't tell you how incredible you look, they can't tell you how lean you look, they can't tell you how amazing you look in your bikini. All they're doing is taking a measurement of you in a moment in time of what you weigh currently. We need to switch our thinking from just using the scales to other ways in which we can track our progress. And honestly, the best way to track your progress is through pictures. Like, I would recommend taking your pictures weekly, even doing a video, like standing up in front of the camera. I'll just stand back. But if you stand up in front of the camera, like take a like this, arms up, go to the side, like this, hand by your side, go to the back, like this, maybe do a little pose, and then turn round. And then this is the best way to track like how your body is changing over time. And like your body is literally the best scorecard you will ever keep. Like that is the best way for you to see how you are visually changing over time. And with body recomposition, having more muscle mass and less body fat, you might not see drastic changes on the scales, and that's okay. But as long as you are looking like more lean, toned, defined, you're getting smaller, clothes are getting looser, confidence is going up, then you're on the right track. Even like your measurements, you can use your measurements as well, using like a tape measure to measure parts of your body, like waist, hips, thighs, arms, and logging them maybe weekly or fortnightly or every month and seeing if they're coming down. I'm not a fan of body fat, like percent body fat scales which track your body fat, because they're not very accurate, to be honest. The only way we can really track accurately of like what our current body fat is using like body fat calipers. So if you know like a PT in your local area who can do like caliper testing for body fat, go to them and get them done like every month and just see if like that's improving over time. Or like another way to do it is getting a DEXA scan, but these are quite expensive. They're like 250 quid to go, and they're not necessary, to be honest. But it might be something you can do once a year just to check, like just to have a little look at things if you're interested in that side of things. But yeah, try not to get so focused on the scales, and remember that like change takes time, building muscle takes time, and like a sort of body recomposition journey can't like sometimes isn't as exciting as a fat loss journey, because like with a fat loss journey, I suppose it's more or less the same but different. It is the same but different, because in my method, like my Empower Fat Loss Formula method, like this is exactly what we do. It's essentially body recomposition, doing all of these things that I have just told you about. But for some people, they might see like fat loss, they might just see really quick losses on the scales and it's motivating, it's exciting. Whereas people on maybe a body recomp, like it's like you've got to really trust the process and trust what's happening, and be patient and know that your hard work is going to pay off, because you're not having these big drops in the scales. It might not seem as exciting, and like you've just got to put the work in, and it's not until you look back in 6 months time be like, wow, look how I look how incredible I am, that kind of thing. But that takes like patience, determination, and probably reassurance from a coach as well to say, no, you're on the right path, you're doing okay, don't get in your own head here. We don't need to add in cardio, we don't need to cut calories, we need to keep pushing with this. And yeah, like it is possible to lose body fat and tone up at the same time, and for some people that might mean like you might hit a point where like you've plateaued with it, and it might mean, right, okay, well now we need to actually eat a little bit more food, maybe go to maintenance calories. So rather than being in like a slight moderate deficit, maybe we need to eat more calories at maintenance now to actually fuel the training and allow the muscles to go even further, and then do that for like 6 to 12 months with like mini cuts in between, just to maybe shave off like any body fat gain to keep that sort of lean, toned, defined look going. And then the last thing that I want to touch on is your lifestyle, because your lifestyle can have a direct impact on how you look, your overall body composition. So let's talk about sleep. Now, sleep is probably one of the most underrated things for body composition. Like there was a study done on like 2 different groups of people, and they were both put on a calorie deficit. One group was sleep deprived and like 5 hours or 5 to 6 hours a night, I think it was, and the other group slept at like 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. And the group that was sleep deprived, they lost more muscle mass and less body fat than the group that had like an adequate amount of good quality sleep per night. So it is vital for you to get enough sleep. And come on, we are adults now. Like, I know when we've put the kids to bed that it's just like, right, get on my phone and have that delusional hour where we just scroll into the abyss of the night. But like, that's got to stop. Like, we need to treat ourselves like we do our toddlers and put ourselves to bed and have a consistent sleep and wake time. So what I want you to do is decide on your time that you're going to go to sleep and time that you are going to wake up at, and make sure that you are getting like 7 to 8 hours sleep. And then what we need to then to improve the quality of your sleep, we need to look at what you're doing prior to going to bed. Now, the hour or two before you go to bed is the most important for preparing your body and mind for a good night's sleep. So this means no phones, shock, no devices, no screens that emit like a blue light that down-regulates the production of melatonin. They need to go away. They need to get switched off. Having like a warm shower or a warm bath, this helps the body sort of wind down and get ready and like prepare for bed. Like, dim all the lights, maybe light candles, have really low light lamps. Try not to have like big bright spotlights and artificial lights on. We want to sort of get the body to start preparing to wind down. This is where you might want to take like a dreamy tea or a sleepy tea. Like M&S have an amazing one. I don't know what's in it, but it massively helps. Even magnesium glycinate, this just helps, like, again, just helps the body wind down and prepare for a good night's sleep and can improve the quality of your sleep. Maybe I'd say no food as well, 2 to 3 hours before bed. This will help improve the quality of your sleep, because if you eat late at night before you go to sleep, this can impact the quality of your sleep. Getting into bed, maybe reading a book, writing in your journal of how your day's gone, reflecting on what went well, an intention for the next day, what you can do differently. And if you're like an overthinker, then maybe writing down like what's going on in your mind, what are you thinking, your to-do list for tomorrow, and then allowing you, then that way then you're going to bed with like a clear mind, and you can just have a nice sleep and deal with whatever you wrote down the next day. Even like I find getting prepared and organised for the next day, like gym bag packed, work clothes packed, water bottle in the fridge, breakfast and lunch prepped, so that you're waking up naturally and you've got time to just like get everything ready and go about and do your thing, rather than rushing through your day and being all stressed. Another thing you can do before bed is like some stress management tools, like a gentle stretch, a nice little yoga flow, some breath work to just like improve like your cortisol levels, down regulate them and soothe the nervous system, that kind of stuff. Again, it's all to help the body relax naturally and the mind to sort of wind down as well. So sleep is so important, and you've got to be consistent with it. It's not just going to happen. You've got to be intentional with it, and it takes discipline. And if you're someone who struggles with your phone, like put it on charge the other side of the room, or have like a phone free zone and put your phone on charge outside the bedroom. Another one is stress management. Like when cortisol levels are raised, like it's just not great from a recovery standpoint. So looking at some stress management tools to again help with that. So yeah, that is today's video, all about skinny fat. I hope you found it useful. I hope you took some tips from this and value from this. And if you have more questions, please drop me a DM or an email. I would love to speak with you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.